What if I told you there was once a time when the world wasn't ruled by humans, but by dragons? Thousands of years ago, before the sun rose each morning, the enormous shadows of dragons covered the skies. Their wings were so massive, they could darken the entire horizon. Their mighty roars shook the mountains, and their fiery breath made rivers boil. Back then, dragons weren't just powerful creatures. They were the ancient guardians of the world. But every great power eventually finds an enemy. As time passed, the bond between humans and dragons slowly turned into fear, then hatred, until one terrible day, a devastating war erupted, a war so destructive it nearly erased an entire civilization. The skies burned with fire, the earth split apart, every corner of the world was consumed by chaos. On the final day of the war, the Dragon Queen realized that if she didn't make one final sacrifice, dragons would disappear forever. So, she hid her most precious treasure, a glowing dragon egg, in a place no human would ever think to search. Before vanishing, she whispered one final prophecy. When the world needs hope the most, my heir will return. And with those final words, the Dragon Queen disappeared. Forever, centuries passed. The world moved on. People forgot the dragons. Children grew up believing that dragons existed only in old legends. But not every legend is a lie. Far beyond the snowy mountains, hidden between endless forests, there was a small village, and in that village lived a 10-year-old boy. His name was David. David was different from everyone else. While the other children spent their days playing, he spent his time reading ancient books. While everyone stayed safely at home, David explored forests, climbed mountains, and searched for forgotten mysteries. He believed the world still held secrets waiting to be discovered. The villagers often laughed at him. Dragons? They're only fairy tales. Stop chasing impossible dreams, David. But David always smiled and answered with the same words. Every legend begins with a little truth. One evening, dark storm clouds covered the sky. The wind howled through the valley. Thunder echoed across the mountains. Then, David noticed something strange. Far away, high among the cliffs, a mysterious blue light appeared. He had never seen anything like it. His heart began to race. Without thinking twice, he grabbed his flashlight and followed the light into the forest. The forest felt strangely silent. No birds, no insects, not even the sound of the wind, only distant thunder echoing through the trees. David continued following the mysterious light until finally he reached the side of an ancient mountain. Hidden beneath thick vines was an enormous stone doorway. He pushed away the rocks. Slowly, the ancient door opened. Behind it, a forgotten tunnel stretched into darkness. As David stepped inside, ancient dragon carvings along the walls began glowing with a soft blue light. Each carving told part of a forgotten story. Some dragons flew proudly across the skies. Some stood beside humans. Others fought in one final battle. David walked deeper until he reached the end of the tunnel. Then, he saw something that would change his life forever. In the center of a massive stone chamber rested an ancient pedestal, and upon it lay a magnificent golden dragon egg. Thin blue lines shimmered across its surface, as if an ancient power had been sleeping inside. For centuries, the chamber was completely silent. David slowly stepped closer. He reached out and gently placed his hand on the egg. The moment he touched it, the entire chamber exploded with brilliant blue and golden light. Ancient symbols carved into the walls suddenly began to glow. The dragon carvings almost looked alive. It felt as though this place had been waiting for this exact moment. But David had no idea. He wasn't alone. Outside the chamber, hidden within the shadows, a mysterious figure wearing a black cloak watched everything in silence. Their golden eyes reflected the glowing light. Suddenly, the entire mountain began to shake. Huge rocks crashed from the ceiling. Without hesitation, David grabbed the dragon egg and ran. The tunnel collapsed behind him. Dust, falling stone, roaring thunder. Somehow, he escaped. When he looked back, the ancient entrance had disappeared beneath tons of rock, as if it had never existed. That night, David carefully placed the dragon egg on the table beside his bed. Outside, the wind continued to howl. The room was silent. Everything seemed perfectly normal. Then, a single heartbeat. From somewhere, deep inside the egg, the glowing blue lines flashed for just one brief moment. Then, silence. Once again. To be continued.